All right. Welcome, guys, to the Habit-Based Lifestyle and Business Show. Today, we're going to be talking about how to dominate your days with these specific morning habits.
You are tuning in to the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with your host, Jesse, Ewell. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle. Let's go.
So if you're watching this and you're tuning in, I'm going to go through the specific morning routine that I'm doing right now. And I'm going to give you a little bit of insight on how and why, this could be beneficial for you as a business owner. But not only that, this could be essentially something that you can make adjustments to your own routine. Again, these are things that I'm doing. And so as I talk to you about these, I really want you to just get some insight on ways that you can maybe make what you're currently doing better. I recognize that most people have some sort of morning routine, but I want to go through, kind of what these look like. So this is a version of my morning routine that I've been doing for a while. Obviously, I make adjustments. And as I begin to make these adjustments, there's typically either a reason why is my goal has changed, or I recognize it's an area that I need to work on a little bit more. So as we get into this today, I really want to just walk you through what this looks like so that you can ultimately get the most out of this. So number one is this is a number one goal. So movement, I believe in movement. And so when I tell you guys this, I'm going to tell you some things that I put on here, and I'm going to tell you a few things that I didn't, but that I already do. Okay. So if I tell you about walking 10,000 steps a day, I'm going to tell you why I believe this is a higher priority than maybe just going to the gym and work out. So let's kind of get into what this looks like. So if you guys are watching this live, I always like to use, my whiteboard, because I feel like a visual effect is always better than, anything else. So let's kind of walk through what this looks like. So number one is walking or getting in 10,000 steps a day. Okay. The reason why I really like this is a habit I started in 2022. It's one of the first things that I can do every day. But it's one thing that you can do that it requires no equipment. It doesn't matter if it's raining. It doesn't matter if it's snowing. It doesn't matter how bad the weather gets. And it doesn't matter. You don't need exercise equipment or any of those things. Okay. But the benefits are massive. Okay. And I'm going to explain to you why I believe that this is one of the best things that you can do for your body and for your health. So walking 10,000 steps a day. Now, typically I would break this up into a 25 to 30-minute walk first thing. And I'll say this, like, for a lot of us, if you're waking up, you feel stuck, you feel like you're kind of tripping over yourself, you can't get out of your own way. Movement is one of the best things that we can begin to do. Just get up and start moving. You start thinking different. Your blood starts flowing. And any type of procrastination or stagnation tends to go away at that point. So getting up and moving is really important. So that gives you probably about 4,000 to 5,000 steps a day. Second is after lunch and after dinner is going for a 10 to 15-minute walk. Okay. Now just using this formula. So why do I eat? Why do I go for a walk after lunch and dinner? Number one, helps with digestion. Number two, a lot of us can get sleepy after a meal. but this tends to kind of keep your energy going. And then obviously you have your digestive things, it breaks down your food better. But this is really kind of the recipe to get in those 10,000 steps a day. Okay. Number two is cold plunge. Okay. Now, the reason why I like cold plunge, obviously, uh, there's the benefits of, burning brown fat, right? There's the benefits of, stress resilience. Okay. Building this resilient mindset. One of the things that I think it does more than anything is it really just kills your stories and it helps you get uncomfortable being uncomfortable. Okay. This is one of the best things I think that we can do as an entrepreneur because it'll show you where you're procrastinating. It'll show you some things about yourself, how maybe when you get ready to do something hard, you kind of tend to think about worst case versus thinking about the result at the end of it, how much better you're going to feel, and what story are you going to stick to when you're thinking about getting in there. Okay. There's tons of, benefits, brain health, all those things for cold plunge. But like I really notice when I do it, I start to get used to it for a while, and then I take a couple days off, and then I come back to it. How difficult it is just to get started and doing it again, and how you got to break through those stories. Okay. So this is one of the best things that I believe we can do, not to mention, obviously, decrease in inflammation, recovery, joint pain, all the things that everybody already knows. But these are the things that I really notice. And you kind of feel like there's some breath work involved. You can get into kind of a meditative state. If it's really cold, hey, you might have to pray just to kind of maintain yourself and get through that. Okay. If you don't have cold plunge, try cold shower. Okay. Um, but it's easy to get caught up in like that. We don't make ourselves uncomfortable enough. And so there's a resilience in that. There's, being, um, being able to be stress resilient is really powerful. Okay. Reading the Bible. Now I'm going to give you this, like these top three things are newer, like walking 10,000 steps a day was something that I really started working at in 2022 because I noticed myself not getting in enough movement throughout the day. And then the results in the gym, I felt like I wasn't getting enough results, not because of what I wasn't doing in the gym, because I wasn't just very active outside of there. I was kind of stuck behind a computer, coaching and things like that. So it really helped me. About halfway into 2023, back in July, I got a cold plunge and really started adding this to my morning routine. And then reading the Bible is something, I've done sporadically, but towards the end of 2023, I really feel like I got a good rhythm down. And, I've been really committed to this. And I think this has been something that's really helped me just in learning, um, and also just being in the word every day. Right. I mean, it's one thing, to say, we're spiritual. It's one thing to do all these things, but if we don't understand the written word and we're not in that, then we're not growing and learning in that way. And so this has been something that's been really powerful, and it's really helped me stay focused. Okay. And it's kind of like as you read the Bible, it begins to kind of read you, and the things that you're going through in a day-to-day life begin to start showing up in stories of the Bible and things like that. And so it kind of starts reading you after a while. Okay. So that's the third one. Okay. Fourth is prayer and worship. So making sure that, I do this consistently. I really started doing this consistently when I started walking because I would habit stack, which I'll talk to you guys about in a second. I would habit stack my 10,000 steps with prayer and worship. And what I started to recognize is that it gave me a lot more clarity on my day. It gave me a lot more peace and presence. And it also helped me grow in my relationship to God and really lead in that walk. And I think sometimes we can pray and sit in silence or sit still, but movement is really what gets us, moving and things like that. And I believe there's a time and place where we do that, but I also believe in like moving is really powerful when, we're praying and worshiping. And so those things have been a really powerful combination, is just being able to have it stack those together and get, a lot more bang for my buck with my habits. Okay. And so these have been, super powerful. 5 is going to be drinking hydrogen water. Now, my goal is as soon as I get up, it's 40 ounces of hydrogen water. Most of us wake up in a state of dehydration. And the first thing that we grab is coffee, things like that. So it's like we go from being dehydrated to even more dehydrated, versus, being able to immediately drink water, not just any water, but hydrogen water. Studies on that show that it decreases inflammation. Inflammation is the number one killer for disease. Not only that, but it increases energy, improves digestion. There's so many other, there's so many other benefits. But here's the thing that you got to recognize is like most people, they're drinking bottled water, they're drinking tap water, and yet they're spending, hundreds of dollars on supplements. And it kind of is like, dude, you wouldn't, you wouldn't go buy a Ferrari and then decide to put some, crappy gasoline in your Ferrari, which is exactly what most people do when it comes to drinking water. Is, they're drinking bottled water, they're drinking tap water, which essentially is a bad version of, kind of like a regular gasoline you're trying to put into a high performance sports car. You're trying to take all these supplements, but yet the water you're drinking is not even quality water. And if our body's made up of, 70% water and we're drinking really bad water, well, guess what? That's a recipe for disaster on our body. And so making sure that we're drinking the right water, we're getting in the right nutrients, not just with food, but with, water also. People put a lot of emphasis on food. They put a lot of emphasis on supplements, yet what is our body made up of more than anything else? Like you can go 40 days without food, but you can't go 40 days without water. So that means that water is even more important than food when it comes to our health. And yet we don't prioritize it in that way. So that is a huge thing. The other one is doing what I call a daily reframe. Okay. So all of us are going to have things, that happens to us. Okay. We can't, control what happens to us, but we can always control how, we reframe it or how we frame it. Okay. So our ability to take any situation and reframe that into something that teaches us about ourselves, some lesson that we can learn from that, gives us the ability to be like, hey, I'm a victim, or someone has done something to me, and I've went from being a victim to being a creator, which is instead of staying stuck in my story, in my situation, I'm actually going to create what I want. And another way to say this is like being a victim is typically someone who wants to be right about why they are the way they are, the situation they're in, versus getting what they want. And so if I'm committed to getting what I want, it's really about me creating the story or creating the lesson that helps me actually get there. So there's a lot of people who, you know, want to be right, but you can't be right and get what you want at the same time. Typically, if you're going to be right, that means you're not getting what you want on the other side, and you can't be both. You either got to pick one side or the other. So is it more important for you to be right, or is it more important for you to get what you want? That's really what reframing does. Okay. 7 is goal review. Now, understand this, that most of us set goals. Okay. The problem is we don't look at them enough to actually make sure that we're on track with them or off track. Okay. Which means that every single day, um, I go through a process where I spend, 3 to 5 minutes reviewing my goals, making sure that the habits, the actions that I'm doing every single day line up with that. And then anything that may come up that may be new gets ran through the filter of my goals. And I just simply ask myself, is like, hey, is me taking this on going to help me get closer to my goals, further away? Is it in alignment with where I want to go? If it is, great. But if it's not, even no matter how good it is, it just may not be a good time right now to actually do that. And so having goals, having a vision allows you to filter everything that you're doing to either get closer or further away. And that's, really the power of that. Okay. So taking, it doesn't take a lot of time. Like, hey, what are my goals? What are my habits? What's my focus for the day? What's my intention for the day? And then you kind of move on. Okay. But having that is really the filter that we need to really get the most out of what we're doing. Okay. 8 is going to be study and learn. Okay. So we have the ability now, whether it be podcasts, books, audio, whatever, to learn at a high level. Now, I usually 15 minutes of prayer worship on my walk. The other 10 to 15, I'm going to work on studying and learning something that I want to know. But think about it this way: we have to constantly be learning. We have to constantly invest in ourselves to continue to grow, to continue to learn, to continue to do all these things. And having that time every single day allows us to really be able to do that. We can learn about our business. We can learn about avenues in our businesses. We can learn about, our relationships. You can literally learn about anything. There's no excuse that you shouldn't be taking at least 10 to 15 minutes every day, studying, learning, and doing something in that fashion, and then taking that and creating content or creating a post that would represent something that you've learned. So I really think that, creating content is a way to kind of like create almost like our own book. And I kind of think of it this way: is like, hey, social media, as it can be toxic, or we can make it work in our favor and just track like what we're doing. I got to track cold plunging. So I got to look back, in 2022 when I started walking, and I got to look through the lessons that I've learned. I got to look back 6 months ago and look at the lessons I've learned from cold plunging. And I not only get to do that, but social media allows me to have memories in that. And it allows me to continue to grow and see the growth I've had. Think about it this way: if I did a video, 7, 8 years ago, and now I can look at it today, I can see the growth. And so, really, creating content is seeing growth in yourself. And most people aren't willing to kind of like capture what they're growing through. And so they don't ever really see that growth. And so they stop. But this is one of the single most important things we can do. We got over 50 platforms. It gives you the ability to put out a message. It gives you the ability to grow yourself, and it gives you the ability to market yourself and really level up your skills. And that's super powerful. Now, the last thing, it's not really a habit, but you've heard me mention it. It's called habit stacking. Okay. And I'll just say this, like there's some other habits I do, um, but these are kind of like ones that I find that, hey, people may find a little more value. And of course, I lift weights, I work out daily, I do those things, but these are things that I thought maybe would be a little bit different on a day-to-day basis. So habit stacking is a concept where you begin to stack other habits so you can be more productive. So, you know, studying and learning is with my 10,000 steps. So really in that 25 to 30 minutes, I'm not only walking 10,000 steps, I'm doing prayer, I'm doing worship, listening to those, I'm studying, I'm learning, and then I even go through my goal review. And so in that one 25 to 30-minute segment, I'm actually getting like 6 things done. It helps me maximize my time, my efficiency, my habits, and really helps me dominate my days. And habit stacking is just the way that we can, hey, if I'm working out, am I listening to something that's adding value to my life to where maybe I'm studying, I'm learning, maybe I'm going through kind of a daily reframe in my mind. Maybe I'm drinking that 40 ounces of water, and that really allows me to stack other habits and make me more efficient. Now, here's what I'll say. This usually takes me about 2.5 hours. So I have an A version, which is my ideal, and I have a B version, which is more condensed. So if I have something else maybe going on, maybe it only goes down to an hour and 30 minutes, but I have kind of an A version and a B version. I don't cut anything out. I just may condense the amount of time that I'm doing those things. But this is, basically my morning routine. I do have a couple other things that I'll add in there, but for the most part, these are the things that I do. If you guys want to know more about what we do inside a habit-based lifestyle and how we help you live better business and life habits, you can just simply dominate. You can just simply comment dominate below this video. If you're on the podcast, you can DM me or you can personally email me back and just let me know you heard the podcast and you want to learn more about what we're doing. And I thank you guys for listening. So hope you guys have an amazing week and an amazing day, and we'll talk soon. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, Mike? Hey, what's happening?
Oh, not much.
Yeah.
Not much, but a whole lot.
Yeah. What? Talk to me about it.
Um, let's see. Where do I start? I have a lot of leads, and so I'm having to sort of um, manage the majority of the leads. So I'm
From
stepping
Facebook or what?
just cumulative Facebook. We have leads we're generating from other lead sources, and so I've recently taken on a lot more work, a lot more duties, and
Okay.
so it's
You got rid
just
of somebody, right?
yeah, I got rid of somebody, and yeah, it's a good problem that I have all these leads, but it's like right now I'm a little unorganized. I have lists upon sticky notes here, and I have a bunch of follow-ups to
Where do
do.
you put all your leads at?
A Google Sheets.
Okay.
Um,
Let's see.
okay. And right now, I don't even have, I'll probably need to put about 5 or 6 in there now. Let's see. Share screen. Which screen do you see, Jesse?
I see your cover.
Okay. So right now, this is the lead sheet, and starting, so right here is sort of where I
Okay,
stop.
so why don't we put like where the leads from? Is there a way to put that?
Yes. Um, I'll add one. I thought about adding that anyway. Let's see.
And then let's color code the leads, which means like if they're from Facebook, maybe just make them blue, assign them to you. If they're, yellow, that means that um they're, from some other place, and you're assigning, like, which ones would you assign to another guy on your team?
Right now, there is no other guy on the team.
Oh, so it's just you?
It's me, yeah, it's just me. Um, what I'm having, so I have another guy, but he works in another division of the company, and he
Uh-huh.
was in this division. That's another change I'm making is he's now working in the other division, and I cannot take him out of that division. I have to keep him in that division. So it's really just me. And then what I'm doing is my brother is helping me put together estimates,
Okay.
him help me there, but I'm going out doing all the, I'm qualifying the customer before I go out there. And then if I do go out there, I'm meeting with them, gathering the information, and I'm kicking it to Jeff, and then Jeff's helping me with the estimates.
Who's
And then
Kyle?
Kyle is the sales guy who's going to be more in the restoration division. So
Got
Kyle is
it.
the guy, so really if you think about it, I had two transitions. I let one guy go, which he was only there for 3 months. And then Kyle was pretty heavy in this division, but I know he doesn't want to do it. And we've talked a bunch, and he really wants to do the 911 restoration stuff.
Got
And
it. Okay.
yeah,
It
so
doesn't seem like you have enough leads yet to maybe have somebody. Maybe you do, but um
yeah, I
I
figured
would.
I could do this. I mean, literally, I could do it in my sleep. Like I'm very good at it, and I. But now I'm trying to figure out. Like now I'm trying to strategically lay out my, just because I have different things, like sort of setting up a checklist, or like a schedule, and being pretty strict with my schedule, saying, hey, look, I do inspections on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and that's it. Or, just trying to be very, very strict with a schedule on my appointments and different things like that. Like, don't go outside of that.
Okay. And you don't have that.
I don't have that right now because it's kind of new. Um, this so I sort of had one,
And
you
then
know.
what happened?
Um, then I had Kyle and Joe in there. Basically, I would get a lead and I'd give it to them. Well, now I don't have Kyle and Joe to fulfill
Got
those.
it. Okay. But
Yes,
were they closing the leads?
that's the problem. They really weren't doing a good job. Like they weren't doing a good job closing. So
Okay, so they weren't really helping you anyways.
no, yes
Okay.
and yeah, yes and no.
Well, just say no, because if they weren't
Yeah,
closing it, then it was just
right.
causing you more.
Yeah,
Okay, so I just put a document for like your routine, kind of like your daily schedule, where you can kind of map out, what you're doing on those. I put it in Messenger on Facebook, and then there's a training.
awesome.
Were you on that call when I'd walk through kind of like my daily schedule?
I wasn't. No,
Okay.
I'm looking at the daily schedule now. But
Yeah, so I'm gonna just give you a training that kind of goes with it, where I talk about like my morning schedule, stuff like that. I mean, here's the thing, man, is where are you serving better for your business? Is it at the front end, focusing on kind of sales and marketing for right now?
it is. It
And
really is.
then do you have people who can fulfill on whatever you're selling?
Yes.
Okay, so let's do this. For the next 60 days, you're 100%, dude. You're gonna focus on sales and marketing.
Yep. That's what I'm doing.
Okay. Which just means you need to be organized.
Exactly.
Okay. So we need lead source, and then we need, instead of last follow up on your left,
Uh-huh.
what I would want you to kind of put over there is like date of lead, like when you got it, and then next to lead source or next to services, we can put like 1, 2, 3, 4, which means you've contacted them, 4 times, whatever, right? And so it just shows you how often you followed up with those people.
Okay.
Is green mean that you've won it, and then what yellow means that you're kind of waiting to hear back?
No, so yellow were are jobs that I'm um pretty close to closing. They were kind of important. The green one was the guy Joe when he was leaving. These were the ones that he was sort of working on. So I was able to close 2 of his jobs yesterday. These 2 here. So
Oh, nice.
I'm actually gonna delete these because I moved them to my closed jobs, which are here. So these are my closed jobs. That's
Got
what
it. Okay.
I'll close. Um, and So yeah, I was highlighting because that day I was trying to just say, all right, I need to focus on these highlighted ones. But I could really go ahead and sort of take
I
these
would
off.
probably go back like 30 days, 60 days, and just go through all of them. And
Yeah,
then what I would do is say, like, okay, green means you close the person, yellow means they maybe have a bid out, you need to follow up, and then maybe another color means you haven't you haven't done their anything with them yet, or nothing's happened. Does that make sense?
yeah, that's a good idea.
So then always, like when you're working through this list, kind of like where people are at.
Okay.
So like any of your estimates that you've pushed out, I would say they're yellow, which means you've done an estimate, but you haven't heard back since you've sent it. And then I would make sure you're following up every week.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. So yellow is estimates sent, and then I'll do
Green
green.
green is closed, and then you can go like orange or something like that. That means you
Well,
haven't got.
let me say this on the green, the closed ones, I delete them because I move them to the closed jobs tab here. So I just get them
Yeah.
off there. Because once they're closed, you know, I don't want them on this sheet. So
I mean, I would probably still keep them because it'll give you an idea of how many jobs you're closing a month. You can still move them, but I would
like,
probably just keep them.
yeah, like for example, this one, I sort of, because I'm tracking my full,
The reason
full,
why I would keep them on the other one is because it tells me your closing percentage to
oh, gotcha.
leads.
Okay.
So like those are things that help you kind of understand how many leads it takes. If you want to make, $400,000, but you're not paying attention to how many leads you're getting a month, you're not paying attention to how many you're closing, and you're not paying attention to your closing percentage, then that's kind of affecting you, especially if you try to bring somebody else in and you're not tracking it. And so then you're getting frustrated because you don't really have a system on percentages and stuff like that. And so then you're kind of managing guys off feelings, not off like actual numbers. That makes sense or no?
No, it does. Um,
All you would do, man, from like what you're doing now, you would still move your guys over once you close them. That doesn't change. You would just keep this color coordinated so you can see like, hey, this month we got 20 leads, we closed 10, our closing percentage was 50%. Of those 10, we 10 of them did not get sent anything, which means that we can go back and we still have 10 opportunities out.
okay. And then what I'm doing is if the lead is, I'm actually deleting the lead if it's no good any longer. I just
Don't
delete
just color coordinate it like
color. Okay.
purple and just say it like it's a dead lead for now or like not interested. But dude, there's plenty of times where I've followed up with people that are like that have wanted, they're like, oh yeah, I'm in a different place now. And they want to do business, man. I'll tell you this, people, the more consistent you are at follow-ups, the more likely someone is going to respect that in you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty good follow-up. I would say that's one of my strong suits.
Okay. Cool, man. What else? You got any other questions?
Um, let's see. I'm going out of town in 2 weeks, and so I'm gonna be out of town for,
Are you here in California?
no, I'm in Louisiana.
Oh, okay. For Mardi Gras or what?
Well, I'm getting we're actually gonna go to Florida.
Okay.
So from Louisiana to Florida.
Okay.
And so as far as like the marketing, like the Facebook posts and stuff like that, what do you
Yeah.
suggest I do there then?
Just keep up with it, man.
Okay.
Maybe just don't do an ask post, that day or
Okay.
that week. Um, but yeah, I would just keep doing it.
All right. I'll tell you what, I did a post today. It is uh so this is the video, huh? Q&A. Um Man, I did this post today
Yeah.
and let me pull it over here. I'm thinking you're looking at my screen there. Okay. But it is on fire. It's crazy. I asked this question, and you have real estate agents coming out the woodworks. It's a
Oh yeah.
lot of
What are they saying? You should buy right now.
yeah, exactly. So it was just it was a really good. It was probably the hottest post I've put out there since I started.
Really?
Yeah,
I thought one you got like 200 and some comments.
yeah. I mean, hot from like I don't no, I don't think I had one that many.
I thought one of your first was like one of your best.
Oh, really? Yeah, it might have been. I mean, maybe I'm just, I don't know. But this one's pretty good. But yeah, I tell you what, that ask post that we did last week was awesome. So
Yeah.
off of that, I'll show you the leads that I got. So all these ones that say HBL here.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, some of them are 6 months to a year out, but you know, I'll be following up.
What what did you guys finish at last month?
Last month we actually we closed a deal. Let me show you. Last month we did 446.
Wow. What was the 363? What was that?
That was a renovation job, that we sold, and it's a the lady's house had caught on fire, and it's a total reconstruction of a two-story house.
Wow. Dude,
And
isn't that worth like more than most of the houses down there?
it really is. And here's the downside to that job though, is that because the insurance company is
Kind of
only,
pays you at their own will.
yeah, well, the insurance company only gave her is only giving her and the mortgage company $120,000 to put the house back together, and it's impossible. So what we did, we stepped in and we said, look, we want to help you. Um, and and basically we got her with our attorney. And so we're getting the 120,000, and it's going to cost us more than that to put it together, but we're sort of investing to where we're going to get the 363, you know. But it might take a year.
Oh, so it's kind of like a PI case for
Kind of, yeah.
where
It's kind
you,
of like that.
when the case settles, you'll get your money, the
Yeah,
rest of your money.
yeah. So it's not like a big cash flow, but it's sort of like looking at it as like a property investment, if you will.
Is
Yeah.
is this considered a good year for you or a good month?
Dude, this month is on fire. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, especially, usually January is real sluggish, and but no, we're doing pretty good.
Good.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, the warrior, the field is that has, and the discussions with you, and habit-based lifestyle, and the warrior field is like, this is my best January I've had in probably 10 years.
Wow. That's awesome, man.
Mentally, physically, business. So it's on fire, man.
Yeah, let's work on your, I know I got to get off in like 7 minutes for our call, but let's get on your nutrition plan
Okay.
real quick. What is it? Is you not doing it because you don't understand it
No,
or
I understand it. I think what it is, I think what I'm doing is I'm tracking my macros, and I am doing a good job of doing that. So I'm hitting my macros. I'm just not following the like for example, this morning I had, 1 cup of egg whites and 2 slices of turkey. I'll put that in my macros. And then right before this call, I had a protein shake with a half a banana. So I haven't tracked it yet, but I'll log that in. And then so I
yeah,
guess
so it sounds what was your workout this morning?
my workout was, I did shoulders and I did hit training. Hit
Yeah, so
training,
you is that considered resistance or
yes,
non-resistance?
that's the resistance.
Okay, so the only thing you're missing out on is carbohydrates in your first meal, like a starch and a fruit versus just having protein.
Right. And it's funny you say that because I am a little sluggish right now. Although I did not, I typically get a lot more sleep than I did last night, but it was my daughter's 12th birthday, so we went out to eat, and I stayed up late, which late for me is midnight. So I went to bed at midnight, but I wake up, I was up at, 5 o'clock. So I probably only got a good 4.5 hours of sleep. So,
Yeah, just pull up your nutrition plan really quick. Right here, 2,500 calorie plan. Okay, so dude, like when you read this, it says like 1 cup of fresh blueberries, 2 scoops of protein, 1 cup of oatmeal. You're really doing is saying like 1 cup of fruit or one serving of fruit. You're doing a scoop of protein, which is really just like the same as you doing like 6 to 8 ounces of like a protein, like turkey, fish, whatever,
right,
eggs. So like just think of it as like do this color coordinating. Okay, so just do fruit blue, like highlight it blue. Okay, and then take your protein like brown. And then your carbs, just make them like orange. Okay. And then when you go down, you can do it yellow or something, maybe. There you go. Okay. So when you go down, so this is kind of standard of what it's like your first 3 meals. Okay. So you got to have a starch, you got to have protein, you got to have fruit. As the day goes along, you're going meal 4, you're going to go protein, veggie, fat. Protein, veggie, fat. That's what changes as the day goes along, right? So,
Really? Okay.
and the reason why it does that is because we're shifting away from your workout, and we don't need as much carbohydrate. We don't need any carbohydrates really at that point. Okay, because we ate them earlier in the day. Now, if you scroll down and you notice the next day, right here where it says just say non-workout or non-resistance, which just mean it's more cardio based. Just say more cardio based. So if you're doing like walking or just you're not doing any lifting, you can do cardio and it's still considered non-resistance, but you're just doing protein, fat, veggie all day. Okay, that's really the big difference. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So question for you. So you have fruit, protein, carb, and then so olive oil would be considered
Fat.
which that would be another color, right? So that
No,
would
not a carb. It'd be a fat. So that'd be like, oh yeah, another color. So go like red. And then put the broccoli as a green. Okay. So, and then the protein's yellow. So what it's saying is like you can replace it with any other protein. You can only do protein with protein. So if it says 2 scoops of whey protein, I could go 6 to 8 ounces of a lean meat. Okay. I can do any type of protein I want as long as it's exchanged for a protein, but I can't take a protein and exchange it for a different macro food choice. Does that make sense?
yeah.
So really what you need to write on here, what days are you doing resistance training? What days are you doing non-resistance training? And then you need to write like, okay, I follow this like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I follow this Tuesday, Thursday. And then if you scroll down, keep going down. So you have basically a cheat day, which I typically would do Saturday. So I eat conservatively, my first 2 meals of the day, and then my last 2 meals are cheat meals, or I can do like my cheat meal for lunch, dinner. I could do my cheat meal for breakfast and dinner. It's up to you. Okay. But whatever, if you do it Saturday, what that means is then you have to fast the day after. Okay. And then it kind of breaks down how to do your fast. Okay. So say that your last meal was at 8 p.m. on Saturday night, you're going to fast till noon the next day. Okay. During your normal meal times, you can have BCAAs and you can have coffee or green tea as long as there's nothing in it. Okay. So that would be on Sunday. Now, let's say you and your wife plan on going out on a hot date on Friday night. You
Okay.
just use that as your cheat day. And then you would fast on what day?
Saturday.
Cool. Okay. So like now you kind of understand the game. Okay. And then Sunday, once you do start eating, you're going to stick to more protein, fats, and veggies because it's kind of considered like your non-resistance day. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Does that make more sense to you now?
It does. It makes more sense now.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
You just got to follow it, man. I'll get you a macronutrient list where you can exchange out different foods for these and a recipe guide. I'll get that for you a little bit later today.
Yeah, I know you got to go. If you get a chance, send me that video of the schedule.
I already did. It's
Oh,
in
you did?
Facebook Messenger.
All right. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it, Jesse.
Okay. I'll see you on the call, man.
All right. I'm not going to be there today, but I'll catch up with you later.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
You are tuning in to the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with your host, Jesse Ewell. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle. Let's go.